I almost forgot the hat. Can't disrespect the Tour de France like that. Anyway, I hope the audio is good. I'm not using the mic today, so I hope the audio is good. But we are on the final stage of the Le Tour de France, and that's what the stage looks like behind me. It's it's going to be pretty tame until they get to the Champs Elysees. I got to sneeze. Excuse me, sorry. It's going to be pretty tame until they get to the Champs Elysees, until they get to here. And then basically it'll be a procession for the yellow jersey. But then they do the regular Champs Elysees up until this part here. And then when you get to this part, then there's a really good climb. It's steep, it's coupled as well. So it's going to be a really tough finish to the today's final stage. Um, just listening to Tade just now, doing during the sign on and the presentation of the teams before the stage, he was just he was like, I'm happy to be able to get this one started as soon as possible, so we can hurry up and finish. He's pretty much just had enough. Uh, Jonas also mentioned that like he hasn't rid of Tour de France this hard ever. It's been labeled as probably one of the hardest Tour de France's ever, and some of the commentators were saying each day was like a separate like a 1 day classic race. Normally in the the long 3 day, 3 week tours, you get little lulls where our guys are obviously trying to recover, so they'll let the break get 10, 15 minutes, and all those guys in the break are probably over an hour down, not even close to the GC and whatnot, so they're not a threat, so that the peloton gets to ride easy, gets to recover, so they can go hard on the big and important days. But basically they race hard every day this tour. That is not sustainable. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a few guys that are going to be sick. There's going to be a few guys that probably won't look at their bike for maybe about a week. And it's just when you race that hard, you don't want to see the bike. You just want to get off, chill out, and call it a day. But that's just how it goes. So, but the other thing about today's stage to the Champs Elysees is it's a lot of the avenue is on couples. So and why I mentioned that is like it's not a big deal if it's dry, but it's supposed to be wet at the finish as well. So that's going to make it. You're going to have to be on your p's and q's today. So it's going to be a tough day, and man, you know, just to be like from day one for 21 days, that type of intensity, it's a lot, man. And I actually feel for the riders. I really feel for the riders, because I do hope they go back and look at the officials who planned the race. I do hope they go back and look at what they planned, and make it a bit more manageable. I think if it would have been less harder, it would have been a bit more competitive. Jonas would have been able to compete. He would have been a lot closer. Remco probably would not have went home. But you want to make the tour. You think, and the crazy thing, the talk was they tried to make the tour as hard as possible to try to hurt Tadej Pogacar so that maybe someone else can have a chance to win. But it sort of backfired, because if you make it as hard as possible, and hard, the strongest person is going to win. You don't have to be tactical anymore. So as you saw in a couple of those stages, where Tadej just sat on Jonas's wheels, like I don't have to ride. I did what I needed to do on the stages I needed to do, and got it done, and that's what it did. Yeah, I'm the first to come. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's. I think like the Tour de France this year has been exciting, but I think at the same time the Tour de France has been ridiculous in the way they mapped it out and they planned it out. I just don't think that it was you know, I you can see the feeling of most of the riders that they just want to go home. They just want to get it over and done with. When you do a race like the Tour de France, you don't want riders leaving like I'm just glad this is over. It's two feelings. I'm glad this is over because that was an amazing race and I can't wait to do it again next year. And then there's the other feeling. I just want this to be done and over with. And that's the sentiment you're getting from most of the riders. I just want this to be done and over with, because the organizers went over the top with implemented difficulty into this year's stage race. And then we had some suspect moments from like Visma Lisa bike, and then also Bora Hansgrove. So like with Visma Lisa bike, that one moment where Matteo Jorgensen basically looked like they had, the advantage after they came over the second to last climb. I can't remember which stage it was, but they came over the second to last climb, and Matteo Jorgensen, took Jonas Vingegaard down into the valley, and then someone attacked, and Matteo Jorgensen ran off and followed the attack, and that was the stage that Ben O'Connor won, when he should have just stayed with Jonas, kept the pace going, and if he would have kept the pace going, then it would not have been a stalemate between Jonas and Tadej, because he had no reason to chase. So what ended up happening is Tadej's guys that got dropped caught up, and they they caught up, and then they all paced back, and then it became a big group. The group was down to like 5, and then it became 20, which was crazy. So they Jonas had the numerical advantage of just riding and letting Matteo Jorgensen just set the tempo and not even worry about those guys attacking and just ride. And maybe they would have got him back in the climb, but it was just tactically dumb. And then he ended up losing like 10 or 12 seconds on the day, because when they got to the top, because Poggy's man like Yates and who was it? Navarez, I think it was Yates and Navarez, were able to set a tempo and hurt everybody else. Except for Jonas. But then when they got to that last, I don't know, 500-600 meters, which was really steep, Poggy just attacked and then put another 10 or 12 seconds into Jonas Vingegaard. So that's sorry. So that was tactical error number one, team dumb move number one. That goes off to it's a dumb and dumber award. So you have to have a yin and a yang. So the first part of the dumb award goes to Visma Bike and Matteo Jorgensen for that move, and the second one goes to Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe when Primož Roglic was trying to win the stage, when he was going all in, and then when he realized that he wasn't getting the time he required. Like, he was only at like about a minute at the most in front of the group when he attacked. He just wasn't getting any time. And everyone knows when it comes to Poggy and even Jonas, you need more than a minute. You need 2 to 3 minutes. And for Roglic, I would say 2.5 minutes, maybe. He could have 3 minutes. He could have done the thing. But then he had Florian Lipowitz, who is trying to vie for the podium and win the Best Young Riders jersey. So why not just drop back, save your matches, take Florian up to climb, and not do too much, and then maybe you may be able to attack late in the climb and maybe get that stage win. But instead, you just rode off the front. You did your own thing. No one can talk to Primož, because Primož is his own person. But that was the other half of the Dumb and Dumber move, where like the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe just. It's almost like they didn't want to say anything to Primož, because he's like the leader, and they wanted to let him do his thing. And at the same time, they still wanted Florian Lipowitz to win the Best Young Riders jersey award. So it was really crazy. It was really like crazy, like some of the moves and some of the things that were made. Jumbo Visma basically all throughout the tour, like they, like they were trying to say they were gonna keep attacking and keep pushing and stuff. Thank you. I appreciate the sub. I really appreciate that. But the fact that Visma, I don't, you go to, I'm not the only one I was watching them, and I was like, does anyone else see what I'm seeing? Like the Visma Lisa bike and what they're doing, like it has no rhyme or reason to what they're doing, the way they're riding, and it's like, it's just, let's ride balls out instead of with our brains, and that's the easiest and the best way to win, is you got to outthink the other person, especially if the other person is just as strong, if not stronger than you. And I from learned lessons from myself, like being the strongest rider sometimes usually doesn't think too much. They think they can win just off of because they're strong. So, Visma didn't try and exploit that. They didn't try to exploit that at all. They exploited it. That I think it was the first time that Jonas won where they worked over Tade, where Tade who just kept, following everything. And he only should have been following Jonas because Jonas was the anyone that was closest to him. That was when Jonas won his first Tour de France, and Tade just was basically, he was just rode immaturely. But this year, he rode smartly, tactically, and I think he rode that way because he knew how hard this this year's tour was going to be, and that's just how it. That's just my assessment, and I really think that the organizers need to go back and have a look at what they planned and whatnot. Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was. I don't think this was the the best thing to do. I think this was the best idea, because like I said, you have riders leaving feeling away rather than feeling excited about what they just experienced. So yeah, Garen Thomas must be saying like, man, what a way to finish my last Tour de France to ride probably possibly what is the hardest Tour de France ever. What a way to finish. So I think that's gonna be about it for me today. I'm gonna jump into because the stage is about to start, so they're gonna do their promenade. Probably have the traditional champagne. Like a little sip of champagne. And they won't drink the whole glass just to signify that we're getting into the Champs Elysees. So and then like I said, it's got to get onto the Champs Elysees and then stay safe on there. Everyone just needs to stay safe. Don't need to see anybody going down. Just everyone stay safe. Everyone have a great finish to the Tour de France, and everyone collect the prizes that they're meant to collect. But it's been really interesting with Tadej Pogacar coming so close. On paper, okay, he's on 272 in the green points, and Jonathan is on 352. So mathematically, even if Tade was to win the intermediate sprint and also the finish, he still wouldn't pass Jonathan Milan because I don't think he's going to get the intermediate sprint. So 50 points would only take him to 222, I believe. And Jonathan Milan's on 352, and I'm pretty sure Milan's going to get a few points in the intermediate sprint, so we'll take it over. So I think Jonathan Milan can safely say he has the green jersey, and he just needs to make it to the end of the race today. It's been really stressful just watching the tour this year, and the big thing that's made it stressful is the listening to the anti Pogacar commentators. Every single commentator, you know, where's Poggy gonna fail? Is he in trouble? How is he looking? Every single negative connotation that they are trying to find to mention and describe or look for a chink. And that's what this whole Tour de France has been. The commentators verbally expressing that they're looking for a chink in the armor of Tadej Pogacar. Not and then on the back end of that, then they will give it like what we call in the Caribbean a backhanded compliment. Basically, you talk about somebody and then you compliment them on the back end of it. It's like, yo, but they weren't doing that for Jonas. They were all in for Jonas, and it's just like every day is Tade gonna be good here? Is Tade gonna be good there? Is Tade gonna? It's like they're looking so hard for a failure moment instead of relishing in the moment and enjoying what we're experiencing, So it was really hard to listen to that, especially on the Discovery Channel. So I'm gonna make sure that next year I'm subscribed to wherever Field League it may be. If he's still at NBC, then it's definitely NBC. So it's definitely subscribing to Field League to listen to Field League because the guys in Discovery have been almost unbearable. But I sort of have no choices because it's the only channel I have to watch the tour on. So anyway, I'm gonna turn the tour on now because it should be started. I'm gonna turn it on, and then while the procession is going on, I'm gonna make me some banana bread. Anyway, folks, I appreciate you tuning in. make sure you hit the like button, and continue to follow the channel, so you get the notification whenever I go live or when I post a video. So I'm going to be posting some interesting videos, I hope, going forward. Alrighty, see you. Is it tomorrow? I'll be here tomorrow.